All right, welcome everyone. So we're here again with the CEO of RUC Education, and he's here to talk to us again about all the study abroad options that we have. And I tell you what, we've had a lot of people who have been interested in this program. Majority of them have gotten admission. This is the second lap of this event, and we're hoping to get more information as as the program continues to succeed. And a lot of people are faced with retrogression. There are questions about the visa bulletin moving backward 11 months, and this has really brought a lot of confusion and in amongst many nurses. And see, one of the things that we do, we are very strategic in the events that we plan. One of the things that we always try to do is to brainstorm on various ways that nurses can take advantage of and come to the United States. So this is one of them, and we're bringing it to you. There was a time when I was, screaming and shouting about H-1B. People were thinking it was a joke. A lot of people have gotten into that H-1B program, and it's really, really is really a good thing for them right now. So this is one of that kind of program. It's not something that will mature immediately, but it's something that when you get into with time, you would get the benefits of this kind of program. So I want you to listen attentively. The person we have here is a very busy man. We were able to get him today. It was up until now, up until last minute, I wasn't thinking that this program will hold because of because of his response to me this afternoon. But I thank God that he's here. So please make use of this opportunity and just make the most use of the opportunity that we're bringing to you. Mr. Funsho, you're welcome to the program. Oh, you're muted again. Okay, let me see. I think let me work on that real quick. I should even make you a host. Okay, you're on mute now.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Yes, I'm muted. Could you also allow me to share screen? Good day,
Yeah.
everybody.
Good day.
So I will just give us a short rundown of okay, everybody can hear me. I'll just give us a short rundown of general requirements and run a few schools as well in terms of what it takes on a general level, because it's each individual usually will have a different sort of circumstance. You have this document, you don't have that document, you're from this country, you don't have that country, you're from that country. So I'm just going to do a general one, but I will share, just run through just a few slides. 1 second. I'm already sharing.
Yes.
Hold on 1 sec. Pardon me. Okay. All right. So RUC Education, that's basically our name. The destination we're looking at is the USA. It'll be really quick. Generally, what we do is to do some sort of counseling. Um, each person again has different circumstances. So you can come say, I have registered nurse, I'm registered midwife, or I don't have anything at all, or I've studied this and that. We'll talk to you about these are the possible options, possible schools, the school fees, um, the locations. Some people are specific about locations as well. So essentially, we will just put everyone through um, a counseling. We have counselors in the office. We talk with them one on one and say, okay, this is the best case scenario. Which is what we think you should go for. back and forth, back and forth. So on a general level, we do all that. We run through the applications for the applicants as well. And then we also guide with the visa application, which Decency is very much involved in as well. Um, and anybody else who needs some sort of information regarding the flights and accommodation. Mostly this is usually for undergrads a lot, especially younger people. But once one is a grown up, most of the time they can sort these things out by themselves when it comes to the flights and accommodation, that is. Most of us would be looking at BSc and masters. That would be my assumption. The Associate of Nursing is lesser than, it's about 2 years. Some people do use that to start and before going on to a proper BSc, but we'll be looking at these BSc and the masters mainly. We've just listed some of the schools we have. Um, there's quite a lot of schools we have that can run nursing in the US, and you know the US has a ton of schools, but we do have quite a number of schools. We've just listed some of them here. Some of the more popular ones on this list, probably like University of North Texas, for instance, or even California State University. Okay, generally, these are the study requirements, just generally. Again, it would vary just a little bit, but on a general level, for postgraduates, we normally would need this undergraduate transcripts and certificates. And normally with our Nigerian system, and I imagine a bunch of our African systems, the schools will be slow in issuing the transcripts, so people need to take some time to work on that. If the person has an RN, so even the nursing school, they will still need the RN in the transcript as well. So if it's something someone is planning, then it's best to just start right away because that transcript is it's a must. We always need to get that. The references, that's number 5 on the first one. The references are not always needed. So that's why I say this is a general requirement. And number 3 as well, GMAT, GRE usually not required as well. But the rest most likely are. Associate of Nursing and BSc Nursing are pretty much the same thing. We would usually use the secondary school results. In South Africans call it the National Secondary School. We call it SSC in West Africa. Data page, and then the RN notification itself, if the person already has RN. So people don't have RN, which is registered nursing, they just have the SSC, that's still fine. We can still use that to get in. People with RN normally will just do a shorter schooling before they can get the BSc. So these are the general study requirements. We can talk about tuition and all that. I haven't got that here because it varies. It would vary based on school. Some school are as maybe 15,000 American a year, while some are 30,000, 40,000, depends. So this tuition would vary. And we would also iron that out in terms of when we're talking to the person. Okay, so what kind of budget do you have? Do you have a location? If you're within a location, maybe they want Texas or they want Maryland or what have you. We'll see what schools are there, and then we'll talk about this at the tuition of these schools. We'll just iron it out like that. Yes, and that's pretty quick and
Awesome.
short.
Amazing. Today's one is so quick and easy. All right. So, but I know
Straight to the
that there
point.
might be, you said, yes, I know, straight to the point. Yeah. I know that there might be questions in the house, so we're going to take questions briefly. So if you have any questions, you might, you can just, I think we have a small house today. So instead of typing, you can just indicate and we will give you the opportunity to ask your questions. Okay. So, but while the question is going on, I just want to say, Mr. Funsho, thank you for the good job you're doing with the other candidates that have been working with you already. And I just wanted to know, is there any specifics from those people that we might, well be aware of and make plans for based on how far they've gone with you?
Yeah, so we have this was I don't know, a couple months ago or so, I think is when we had the last one. So we have people who have admission letters, and we have a couple of people who have made tuition deposits to schools and are preparing for visa application. Um, Again, we get different kinds of people. There are some people I recollect a couple of people who are not in Nigeria, for instance, and they're trying to go from where they are, and nothing's really stopping them. It's just the same process as if they were in Nigeria. They can still apply for visa from where they are most of the time. And some people are students in another place. They just want to go to the US, and that's still not an issue. It's just a matter of being able to apply for the visa. And some even have a visiting visa to the US. And as we mentioned, one can switch while in the US. The last time, it's some processing, but it's still very possible. So we have quite a few people from the last group that we've moved forward with. So yeah, and some still in the pipeline. I'm trying to get this document, just like I was saying, the transcripts could be a problem. So we still have some people, I'm still trying to get this document, some even passports, international passports. That should be faster now. I was told it's a bit better now in the immigration, but I'm not sure how true that is. But we have like a wide array of people pending documents, some with offers already, some who's paid tuition, and then some that were looking towards visa application from just a couple of months ago. And that's where we are at the moment. Are we having questions in yet? I will go towards the requirements again. Let's put that up. Where are we? Let me see the chat. Okay, here we go.
We have some questions. Sorry. Yeah, so one of the questions that we got from Owolabi is for student routes, can one relocate with the family?
Well, generally, yes. So for instance, what is very important to know, so the student's visa is the F1 visa, and then the spouse's visa would be the F2. But it's worth mentioning that it's usually limited. For the US, it's limited in terms of the work, the job the spouse can do. Because normally, even for the F1 student, you normally work on campus. So for the F2, the spouse, work is limited. That's one thing you should know. But on a general level, they have the provision to allow family to apply.
Yeah. And this is just me adding to that. Can you also give us a little bit of insight? Because I know some people at this point might be considering moving to either Canada or UK for education purposes. So do you also have such services?
Yeah, yes, we do. We mainly do English speaking countries. So US, Canada, um, the UK, Republic of Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand. All right. Those are the main ones that we do. These are the English speaking countries. Mainly we target those ones because it's usually easier for our people when they go to these countries, straight up getting to work or what have you. Or unlike say maybe we do Poland and you have to learn the language first, so that transition is never as smooth as you go to an English speaking country. So we do those countries and yes, we provide the same services as those ones. If it's the nursing they want to do there, that's fine. Um, if you can throw in questions as well if you want regarding those countries, that's totally fine. But
Right.
we do those as well.
Right. It just reminded me of when I was still like, struggling to move out from Nigeria to any country. And so there was a time I met an agent that asked me to go and learn Dutch so I can go to Germany.
Yeah, yeah.
So I started the classes and I'm like, is this how I'm gonna, am I gonna live like this? So I'm like, okay, no, I'm not gonna do that. It's not for me. So some people might still be so talented with languages because I know I've seen a lot of people that speak 5, 10 different languages. So if you're good with languages and you want to go to some of those countries, that's also fine. But I think to the point that Mr. Funsho is trying to raise is that it's easier for you to get into a country that communication will not be a problem for you than just getting into a place. Okay, for There's some places in the US here that are majority of them are Spanish speaking people. So if I, as a registered nurse, goes there to work, it will be difficult for me to even tell my patient what I want to do for them because they won't understand me. So there, I will always be getting there's a little interpreter device that they always have for patients that are like that, and you have to get that interpreter device every time, and you have to take consent. It's time consuming. So things that
Yeah,
you can do within 5 minutes, you have to do it in 2 hours, and all of those things constitutes, performance, your performance at work, and also your people grading your effectiveness. So it's always good that you have the communication issue is removed from the equation, and then you're just rolling with your profession. Okay, so
exactly.
I'll go ahead with other question. Thank you so much for handling that, Mr. Funsho. The next question is how many hours? That's also from Owolabi. How many hours is one required to work? I guess this is for those coming to the US.
Yeah. So usually by law, you're supposed to work 20 hours a week um, as a student while school is in session. So usually schools will start in September and December/January. But during the holidays, so like maybe November, December, um, one can work full time. But during school time, whenever the school is in session, you are required to work for 20 hours. Uh, On a general level, if one can help it, it's best to keep that time, mainly because the trouble that comes with doing too much overtime can be a big deal in terms of maybe you want to apply to stay in the country afterwards, and then they go check the records and all that. So it'd be good to try and stick to it as much as possible. But it's 20 hours um, during the school time, and then when school is off, full time.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much for that question. So we have another question from Basil. Basil is asking, what is the process for switching from student visa to immigrant visa or permanent residence?
Student visa to permanent residence.
Yeah.
Usually, are you gonna have the lawyer on today?
Yeah, actually, he was the one I was trying to call, and
Okay,
he
okay.
said that he's in a meeting. So, if we stay here till the next hour, which is 3, then he'll be here. But if not, then I have to schedule another meeting with him for tomorrow. So that's what he said. But just to
Right.
kind of give my own input to that. So
Mhm.
when you come in here with your student visa, at the end of your student visa program, you can apply for something that they call national interest waiver. And that gives you the opportunity to switch from your student status to that's a EB3, that's employment-based visa petition. So you are able to do that. And also you can also apply for other visa options that are available. You can apply to a job after your studies here. You can apply for a job, and your job will process your papers, like your green card. They will do your green card because you're getting it based on employment. That's all the employment based visa categories. They have employment visa, that's EB3, EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4. All of them are based on employment. So depending on the category where you're coming from, there are ones that are for people here in the US. I think it's EB2. For those that are already in the US, if you want to, change to employment-based status, you have to do that. And once you get your green card, within 5 years of holding the green card, not committing any crime, no felony, no too much troubles with crime, you're going to get your immigration. You're going to get your citizenship within the US after 5 years of consistent, residence, no issues, law abiding, you will get your residence in the US. I hope that answered your question, Mr. Basil. All right, so we'll go ahead and take more questions. So Fumilayo Owulabi is asking, can someone file student visa along with EB3 for someone who has already filed I-140 petition? So I also take that question. So there are two categories of visa. The student visa is is a non-immigrant visa. Okay? Is a non-immigrant visa, which means it's a difference. There are two types of visas. It's either you're applying for an immigrant visa or you're applying for a non-immigrant visa. So student visa, what is it called? Tourist visa, they are all non-immigrants. So which means you don't have intention to stay here. That's why you're being cross-examined when you're applying for student visa, the intent, they are looking at finding out if you have any intent to stay in the US, any intention. Even if you go for like a B1, B2 visa, they are also checking, do you have intention to remain in the US illegally? You understand? So if there are no such thing, then you would be given your visa. But you know, a lot of people come in through that route, and on the process of studies, they change their mind and decide to stay back, because change is something that is constant. It can happen at any time. Okay, let's assume that when you're applying for the visa, you don't have any intent to stay in the US. You just want to go for studies and go back to your country. But when you come here, you decide, okay, I'm now going to stay in the US, then there is also an option for you to do that legally. You understand? That's after doing that, then you're able to get a job, and then your job can file for you. And interestingly, I have a hospital that I work with here in the US, because we do staffing, Decency Staffing Solutions. So one of the things that that hospital does is for people who came in here with H1B, with student status. So what they do is they get them and they file their petition. So they go through all this screening, and after the screening, they are able to file an immigration petition on their behalf. It happens everywhere. So if you're not even a nurse, if you are an IT person and you get a job here in the US, you can as well, ask your job if they have that option of filing, because when they look for people here and they don't find people to work, they have to look externally. And if you're already in the US, you are a more easier option for them to employ than just going to other countries, employing them and waiting on visa retrogression or visa availability for them to come in. So far you're here, you're a more suitable candidate for some of those companies. All right. So I believe I answered your question. You can do it. So what my answer to you, yes, you can combine two type of visa categories. Like you can go for EB3, and at the same time, if you're filing for students, you can as well do that. We can also bring this question for our lawyer, our immigration lawyer, Mr. Douglas, to also look at tomorrow when he comes on the program. But I know for sure that there are two types of visas, and just like we did H1B and EB3 concurrent filing, we can as well do student visa and EB3 concurrent filing. All right, so let's see. The next one is question from Yomi. Yomi says, thanks for your presentation. For student routes, is it possible to work as a registered nurse if someone has already passed NCLEX? That is possible. I've seen someone doing it here in the US. Okay. In fact, you can't work for anything short than that. So, but the caveat with that is that if you're going to be working as a registered nurse in the US, because of the depending on your qualification, for those people that are coming here for master's program, there is a CPT requirement. I think we've talked about that on this program. So there is a practicum requirement, which requires that you have to work in different fields that relates to the area of your study. So for those going for masters, you have to go for that practicum. It's like capstone, and those people that are there are doing those courses are they are allowed to work full time because of the CPT requirement of their program. All right. So with that being said, if you're a registered nurse, you can actually get a job if your university has a hospital. You can get a job and work in the hospital that is attached to your university. Most of the universities here are teaching hospitals, so like we call it in Nigeria. So they have availability of jobs in their teaching hospital. You can apply and work there, even while schooling or while doing your just 20 hours requirements, or you want to work full time during your break, you can do that as well. All right, so that is possible. That can be done as well. All right, so the next question is from Owolabi. Owolabi is asking, how easy is it to do adjustment of status? let me just not give you false hope. Nothing is easy, but there are laid down principles. USCIS has requirements that if you meet it, you will be given whatever you qualify for. So if you're applying for a visa, for instance, and it's a merit-based visa. This is not based on availability, it's merit-based. So if you merited that visa, you are going to be given such visa. So there's no corruption, or there's no favoritism in that. There's nothing like that. So once you merit it, you'll be given. So there are standards that if you meet those standards, you'll be given. And then when you're talking about adjustments, one of the things that Mr. Funsho said is that it's always good to not overwork. When it means overwork is whenever it's 20 hours, make sure you stay on 20 hours, because at the time of giving you doing your adjustment, what they'll be looking at is if you have been abiding with the requirements of your visa. And one of them that people always fail on is the work requirements. So a lot of people will do a lot of overtime, and it will put them in trouble at the time of adjustment. Okay. So it's always better to be safe, okay, and just abide by the requirements of your program. All right. The next one says from Seyi. Seyi says, can someone file a student visa along with, yes, we've answered that. There are two categories of visa. The other one doesn't have an immigrant intent, so it's possible for you to do that. All right. So, and then next one is, oh, sorry, I missed my line. Let's see. Okay, so next question. Olabi has been going up of today. So I said, is there opportunity for tuition scholarship? Mr. Funsho, I will have you take.
Yeah, tuition scholarship, yes, yes. This applies to nearly all the schools. They would normally have, especially American schools, they're big on that. They would normally have some sort of opportunity to get scholarships. Um, Most times they will be merit-based. Sometimes they'll say you have to be from Africa or something like that, but normally they could provide, say, 10 scholarships for Africans. That makes it competitive, but merit-based is depending on how good your previous result is. Yes, but on a general level, yes, there is tuition scholarship.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Funsho. And then the next question is from Da. Da is asking, what is the limitation on the dependent visa, and how many hours can dependents work?
Well, so that's the thing, to be straightforward, because of the way the F1 visa is, and in terms of the work itself, the F2, which is for the dependent now, they will not be able to, they can do more than what the student can do. So the student normally would be able to work within the campus, and if the F2 cannot work within campus, they will not be able to work. So it's always good to tell straight away like it is. So the limitation will be normally dependents will not be able to do a lot of work. That's the fact. And so it's something one needs to consider as well when you're trying to do maybe a whole family movement or so.
It's also it's a capital intensive, movement, because if you consider that you're moving your whole family, if you're supposed to be here and living in a one bedroom, or even attaching with somebody, maybe squatting with someone, for instance, when you bring your family, you cannot do that. So you have to kind of get an appropriate, decent accommodation that will take care, and that costs money. And you're working just 20 hours a week. So if you take all those things and put into consideration, we're just being in the spirit of full disclosure, just telling you, or if you have the means, fine. If you have the means to be able to do this, this is a nice approach. I've seen families that relocated to the UK just to go and study, and everybody went. So, and because the family was okay financially, but there are people that when they are going to the UK, they have to send the John the Baptist first. They have to send someone that will go before them, like a forerunner, and go and prepare the way, make sure finances are okay, things are doing well, and then they can let their family come on. All right. So it depends on your family situation. decide to do whatever that suits your family. All right, so we have Cheesy London. Cheesy London is asking, say, good evening, sir. Please, what about proof of fund? So, Mr. Fincher.
So usually after one gets admission, you would see the tuition on the admission letter, right? And then if one pays tuition or some schools you pay a little bit or you pay whatever deposit, the issue was called the I-20 and would usually carry the living expense plus the tuition. So there's no one figure. That's the problem. That was not really the problem, but that's just the variable how it works in the US. So it will be based on the tuition is how we'll know what the proof of funds will be. So if you're going to a place like California and the living expense is 20,000, they want you to show 20,000, and the school fees is maybe another 20,000, you need to show 40,000. All right. Some schools actually want you to show that money before the admission. They will ask for bank statements before they issue an admission. So that's the proof of funds. And then in some other places, it could be they want you to show the school fees is 16,000 and living expenses 22,000. When you put that together, that's what they'll be looking for in an account. So say unlike say maybe Ireland, Australia, the UK, we have a fixed amount of living expense. In London, it's different. In London, I mean UK, if it's London, you get a fixed amount, and outside London, it's fixed amounts. But with the US, it varies a bit based on the school. So but it would usually be, 30,000 to $60,000. It would usually combine tuition and living expense of that place. That's what you would show.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Fincher. And I believe, Osinachi, I believe your question is
Easy.
answered. Yeah, Cheesy. All right. Well, the next question is from Osinachi, and I think it's for you again, Mr. Funcho. He says, good evening, all. Please, can someone who did not do science subject, be able to gain admission to study nursing, or must it be science subject as it is in Nigeria?
So quite frankly, the science would have it, especially someone who's done biology. So we have someone of late and we're applying and applying. They did biology, but didn't even score like I think they needed to score a C4 or something like that. And they didn't get in some places. But with the US, because the US is quite large and there are lots of options, interestingly, we can still get someone into a bachelor's of nursing, even though their SSC is not in sciences. Um, there's like a thing with the US where even when you enter school year one, they do like a liberal course where um you don't even major yet. Some people in year one don't know what they want to do until they go into year two. So based on that, we can still get people, even though they don't have science. So yes, what's it actually it may be possible for us to get an admission for someone who's done maybe arts or something else in SSC.
Yeah, that is true. Because in US, you can do prerequisite. They call it prereq. Prereq courses, they give you all the science subjects, so you're going to do it. So all you need to prove it, okay, I didn't do this, and they will add it to one of the courses
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
in the university. All right. So Lizzie is asking, is the associate of nursing degree for those that do not have BSN or in their
In
home
home
country?
country.
Yeah.
Well, they're separate things, Lizzie. So the BNSC, which is the Bachelor's of Nursing Science, right? That's the usual, like a bachelor's degree. The Associate of Nursing is just the first 2 years. So some people would stop at that 2 years and then they can be issued an associate degree. It's not just nursing, it's other degrees as well. Associate degree. So it's just the first 2 years and it's not what you get for those that do not have BSc. No, it's lower than a BSc is what I'm trying to clarify. Lower than a BSc. So um it's not one or the other.
Okay.
It's associate nursing and then associate degree and then BSc nursing.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Thank you, Mr. Funsho. Lizzie, I hope that answered your question. And then Egede Moses is asking, what is the duration for the BNSC program?
The BNSC usually would be 4 years normally, right? It would be 4 years. Uh, If someone has an RN, however, it could be shorter. But on a normal day, BSc, Bachelor's in Science and Nursing would be 4 years.
All right, thank you. All right, so Adobe is asking a question. He said, do we have schools that offer full sponsorship? That's free education.
Full sponsorship.
Yes.
The thing is, it's not impossible, but it's rare. And what happens is they may have just one or two or full. So you can imagine, and it may be open to the entire world, for instance. So if we pick a school like Pace University and they have that, they will have three. And then people from China are applying for the same full scholarship.
Mhm.
People from Brazil. So imagine the competition on that.
Yeah.
These are not the kind of things that we actually encounter on a daily basis because it's very rare to get
Mhm.
it because of how limited it is.
Yeah.
So my point is you may not want to depend on that to try and to use to move. That's the thing.
That's good. Thank you, sir. And Dr. Idoko is asking, can one make part payment of the tuition fee or full payment before leaving?
In terms of paying tuition, yeah, the schools would prefer if you pay full. They don't mind. But yes, all of them would accept part payments. All the schools accept part payments for tuition. Some of them will write how much you need to pay as deposits, some wouldn't, but it's always good to pay a tuition deposit. It makes you look good when you're going for visa application. There are a lot of people who talk about it. Like, oh, but my friend, I didn't pay school fees. Yeah, but when you go in front of the interviewer and they ask you where you're going, have you paid any tuition? No. Okay, how do they really know you're going to school? So it's an interview with the US, so it's always. But so yes, you can pay part tuition, and you can pay full, whichever one your power carry.
Okay, that's good. Thank you so much. And then we have Lizzie again asking, is there sponsorship or student loans?
But also, this is essentially like what we talked about the scholarship. The schools generally have some scholarships off tuition. Part of it again is merit based. Sometimes you need to apply early for those scholarships, so that is available. But in terms of the loans, from what I know, the schools don't do that. We don't do that either. I have heard of some independent bodies that give people loan, but they deal directly with the individual. I don't know what criteria the person must meet or anything like that. But the one I deal with are maybe directly with the schools, and they do have some scholarships that one can apply for. Usually on their website. If you come through the website, you see the different types. Um, just have in mind that it's merit based. That's the main thing.
All right, thank you so much. The
Mm.
next question is from Yomi. Yomi is asking,
But you skipped for
that's,
me.
oh, I did? Oh, I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, for me right before that.
Okay, let's see. Fumi is asking, is one allowed to work as USRN for an NCLEX passer with student visa? We answered that
I
question
think you
before. We
talked.
said
Yeah, you
yes.
talked
Yeah,
about that.
yeah, we said yes. For me, the answer to your question is yes. Yomi is asking, is it easy to get job while you study? Um, yes, that's also, is also something that is very easy. Nurses are, as I hope Yomi is a registered nurse. Nurses are really high in demand, so they will take you if you have your social security and any legal document to prove that you can work in the United States. Okay, so you should be able to get a job easily. Okay, Chizzy is also asking, please, can you tell us about visa? I was told that they usually deny visa. How true is it? And how sure are we that visa will be given to us?
Okay. Visa. So getting a visa is not. There's no 100% guarantees, right? I always tell every single person that. Don't let someone tell you, oh, everything is sure, just do this, or give us this, give us that. Because we're not the embassy, right? We cannot say 100%. What we do is to make sure everything that the embassy is requiring is on the table. In terms of the funding, in terms of the documents, it's very clear who's funding you. You paid some tuition, like I'm saying. So once you have met 3, 4 things, then yes, your visa chances are really high. All right. And again, if for maybe some people who have a background that relates to it, so maybe you're already an RN or what have you, that could also help. But they do grant visas. We get visas, but 100%, no, not 100%. But the thing is, if someone gets refused, they can always reapply, and that's always a good part.
Okay, that was good. Thank you so much. And then I have Presh. Did I miss somebody?
Press, yeah, are they RN to BSN programs?
Yeah, I think I missed a couple. I missed Chizzy. Chizzy is also asking, can you tell us about visa? I was okay. That's the one with
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's Presh. So Presh is asking, are they RN to BSM programs which are done live, not online? That's on site. That's what she means by live.
Oh, okay. That's what it means by live.
Mm,
Well, yes, that's the whole that's literally the whole point of what we do, being on campus,
mhm.
right? Yeah, yeah. So yes, RN to BSN on campus where you go to the US. Yes, we have that's what we push for. We don't even push for the online courses. Um,
Because
so it's
you may
really
not be able to get the visa for that.
yeah,
Because you can
yes,
do
we
it
don't
from your
yeah,
country.
you can do it from your country. You don't even you can't even apply for visa with that online. So yes, we do on campus RN to BSN camp programs.
Yeah. So that's a good answer for that. And then Jude is asking, can someone who has RNRM but does not have science subjects in WAEC do the associate's nursing?
Yes, based on your RN and RM. The fact that you've gotten into school into nursing school to get the RN RM. Yes, yes, yes. We can use that to apply and get you further into further nursing. So that can work. William and Jude. Yes.
Okay. All right. We have Dorcas. Dorcas is asking way forward for degree nurses after passing NCLEX exam. So the way forward, I'll just touch on that a little. So there are so many pathways that you can follow when you pass your NCLEX exam. Number one is to get you have to get an employer here in the US. And the employer can come in different fashions. Now you can get a direct hospital employment, which means you're going to be employed directly to a hospital that is here in the US. You can as well get an agency that is here in the US that can sponsor your immigration petition, which means when you come here, you're going to be working for the agency. You're not going to be working for the hospital until you finish your contract terms with the agency. And then the next one is you can apply for a H-1B visa. H-1B visas are is like is a dual intent visa. It's a non-immigrant visa, but it has also an immigrant intent. So which means you can come here with H-1B. It gives you the opportunity to work for 3 years and is renewable. You can renew it for another 3 years. Within these 3 years, you're also permitted to apply for EB3 petitions for you and your family. Also, there are a couple of other options like the F1 student route that we are discussing today is also a possibility, a way that you can come into the US. Currently, there is retrogression, and the retrogression is causing us to be backlogged a lot with the visa bulletin and visa approval rates. So what we are experiencing right now is that even if you pass NCLEX, you would still need to stay maybe in your country. If it stays the way it is now, you may still be staying in your country for the next 3 years after passing NCLEX before you can come over to the United States. But with these options that we are bringing, you are able to come into the United States and wait out the entire process of the EB3 retrogression. All right. I hope that answered your question, Dorcas. All right. So the next question is for Charity. Say, do I need IELTS or OET for admission for nursing programs?
Okay. It's yes and no, because it depends on the school. Um, so we actually have schools that are not asking Nigerians for English tests, as long as you have a decent score in WAEC English. We also have schools that will ask for IELTS, and if they do ask for IELTS, they would ask for something like a 7 overall in IELTS, because it's nursing. But we have had offers from schools that have not asked our students for English tests. Um, the same school has asked someone, say from Cameroon, for instance, for English tests.
Okay.
So I think the WAEC kind of helps us in that regard.
Yeah, I think it's high time that our leaders should talk about that, because it's actually pointless that we are taught in English and then we have to still take
We still have
IELTS
to
exam.
do English tests. It's annoying, really. Yeah.
It's not
So,
good. I don't think it's something that is right. So the next question is from there's no name to this, so it's a phone name.
Huawei and
Hawaii.
Y9.
Yep, that's a phone name, I guess.
Mhm.
So let me see what she's.
They say what's the highest requirement for masters in nursing? So
Yep.
if there will be a requirement, it will be a 7 overall. They need to get a 7 overall and a 6.5 minimum in each band. Um, would be the requirements. Other courses would normally be lower, but when it comes to sort of medical kind of courses like nursing and stuff, they ask for a 7. So yeah, if you get a school that needs it, then they'll be asking for a 7.
Okay. Sounds good. The next question is from Da. Da is asking, how much does the application cost?
So the schools would normally have an application fee. In the US, it's a general thing. Schools have application fees. Usually around $100. If you in mind prepare in your mind $100, some of them are 80, some are 120, 125, but on average it's $100 application fee. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Then Kechi is also asking, please, is there any board of nursing doing verification waiver for Nigerian trained nurses? Do you actually need license verification for admission? That's the question.
Sorry, do you actually need what?
Do you need license verification? Do you need to verify nurses' licenses for
Um,
admissions?
yeah. No. 90% of the time, no. I think if the school is not too familiar with Nigerian applications, then they ask for verification. Uh, and I have had a case where they wrote to to the school, and the school just never replied for, like, you can imagine. Anyways, they did not reply for a long time, and the school here was kept waiting and waiting for the Nigerian school to reply to confirm the result, and that took forever. But again, that's 90% of the time we do not have to go through that. They don't need to verify the result; they just process it straight away. It's kind of like, our WAEC, and maybe they're not writing to verify the WAEC or something. No, they don't need to do that 90% of the time. So I'm sure if you get a school that's asking for that, it's best to just try another school, maybe one we can suggest that's not going to be bothered with asking to verify the RN.
All right. So Yomi is asking if you can get a number, a contact, no, contact number. So I've dropped a number. Just chat that number up on WhatsApp, and then all your questions about this will be answered and you'll be directed to the appropriate quarters. All
Yeah.
right. Then where am I?
Below Yomi is Fumilayo.
Uh, that far. Okay. So Fumila is asking also, please, I would like to know how many admission opportunity a year and when.
The usual intakes are in the winter, January. Some schools start in December, but January, uh, and then we have a May intake, and we have a September intake. So three intakes during the year are the most common intakes. Some schools will not run nursing maybe in May, and they'll just run it in September and January, that kind of thing. But on a general level, those are the three intakes, um, and we can work around that.
Okay. That's good. Let me be a little bit faster because of our time. We have spent 1 hour already,
Oh,
and I don't
okay.
intend to keep you here for so long. So Fumilayo is asking, please, sir, I would like to know how many admission opportunity a year and when. And then the next question is,
Okay.
what
Yeah.
is the average tuition fee, and are we expected to make any payment before relocation?
Yeah, tuition would vary from 15,000 to say 30, 35. Some schools are higher than that, 45,000. But so the lower end would be 15, 17, 18, that sort of thing. That would be that's the range of tuition. You can find anything between that. And yes, one would need to make a payment. I would advise someone makes, even if it's 2,000, 3,000 deposit to the school, you have that receipt in hand for the visa application.
Okay. Thank you so much. Vincentia is asking, says, thank you, Boss Decency and Mr. Funsho, for the program. My question is, how can one go for a student visa having signed with an agency who has filed I-140 or EB3 visa? Is it possible for me to get the student visa while waiting for EB3? So, so it's actually is a dicey game that you would want to play there, because you would want to make sure that your agency is aware of your the tons that you're taking. You should present this to them and see what they say. Present the option of, can I come over with a student visa, and then when I'm done with my studies and my EB3 is out, I can come work for you, just to see what your agency might say. It's not a bad question to ask. If you have a good relationship with them, they should be able to point you to the right direction, because everybody knows that the retrogression is causing a lot of people to look into different options that we can explore to ensure that we come out from our countries as soon as possible. So if you ask that question, it will be well understood. And if the person is knowledgeable enough, they should be able to point you to the right direction. All right. Then also the next question is, what is the duration for BNSC? So, Mr. Funshu.
That's 4 years. BNSC is 4 years
Yep.
normally.
Yeah. So Yomi is asking, which school can you recommend that has low tuition? So there are a couple of schools that are showing on your screen right now. So I believe you can see it. And I don't know, Funshu, do you have other low tuition
Yeah,
schools?
yeah, there are other schools that we can definitely pass on to people actually. University of Arizona is not too bad. Then we have Arkansas State. That's about 15, 16,000. Those are some of the lower ones. University of North Florida as well, around 16, 17 as well. So then we have the Pace, which is like 35. So, but the lower ones, we have a few, like North Florida, like I mentioned, North Texas as well, Arkansas State. So those are some cheap ones.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. So Lizzie is asking again. He said that she's not cleared, that she's an RN with 13 years of experience, and how can she go for associates, or is it the degree program proper that she should go for? Will she be given admission? So,
Yes, yeah, it's the degree proper you go for. Because you have RN already. You've I don't know, 4 years to get RN, right?
yeah,
Yeah, school, yeah. So you've already done quite a number of years just to get the RN. So from that RN, it's now RN to BSN. So you're going RN to BSN, not RN to associate degree again, as RN to BSN,
yeah,
right? So that's what you'll be going for, Lizzie, not associate. You'll be going straight for the bachelor's now.
all right. Thank you so much. Charity is also asking, say I've applied severally for masters in nursing in the UK. They kept on refusing me. I don't know the problem. Please, could it be as a result of my SSCE, which almost C's in all the subjects? So,
I don't think so, Charity. It's probably that you maybe your first degree, since you're going for masters, your first degree is not nursing related. Um, the way it used to be easier in the UK, but because there's been a lot more demand, schools that you would give us admission for someone who studied accounting, someone who has a bachelor's in accounting can go for masters in nursing. We used to get that. But because the demand is higher, what they're doing now is they would put out all those non-nursing background and give everybody that's from nursing because there's enough demand now from the nursing background people. So once they fill up the space, people like yourself, if maybe you're coming from a non-nursing first degree, they won't give you anything anymore. That's what's going on there. It used to be that we would get admission for people from any background for masters in nursing, but it's not working like that because of the demand. That's what's going on. I don't think it has to do with your nursing, with your SSC, sorry.
Mhm. All right, so we have another question from the
Oh,
phone, Hawaii. It says about student loans. So let me just nip this question on in the board. So now the student loan there's a student loan in the US that is called FAFSA, okay? But this is federal, it is like a federal government student loan, and this student loan is given to people who are legally in the US, either a permanent resident or somebody who has employment authorization, that in that way you are supposed to, start paying that student loan immediately you finish school. Okay. So once you finish school, you have a social security number with your student loan, with your legal back work authorization, you can apply for a student loan and get it, use it. But you have to get in first. You have to get in to be able to access some of those funds, because you cannot access them as an international student because there's nothing you're applying with. You don't have a social security number, you don't have a green card, you don't have any employment authorization, you're just applying from out there. So when you get in, you can access a lot of opportunities and a lot of things that are available for people who are here, who are residents here, who can be tracked or who can be traced for them to make payments on their student loan. So that's how it works. So there is student loan in the US, but it's not available for international. You have to be legally in the US for you to be able to access those funds. Because I myself, I did my BSN, RN to BSN here in the US, and I did my master's here in the US, and I used the student loan for all of them. And for these programs that I did, I had to submit my social security. I have to submit some other maybe banking information and all that, so that I'll be able to start making payments immediately I finish my program. Okay, and those monies are not free. They are highly um
interest?
yes, interest. There's a lot of interest on them. So people pay student loan for a lifetime here in the US. Not because the money, it might be just 10,000, but because of the interest that is in those money. If you just finish school, the interest start accruing. 10,000 can become 70,000 before you know it. I'm telling you, it jumps that quick. It might be so ridiculous, but if you neglect it, before you know it, you come back and they are telling you you're owing. Maybe if it was 10,000, but they're telling you you're owing 30,000, you'll be so shocked. Let me not say 70, but you'll be so shocked how it jumps because of the interest that it has. But will you access it? Yes, you can access it. Okay, if you're here. All right. So really quick, and the next one is Esther Odozie is asking, are there schools in the US that does loan scholarship? I think we have talked about this yeah, scholarship and loan a lot. So let's move on to Stella. Stella said, having passed NCLEX and the retrogression persists, can I go for masters in the US? What would be the effect on my EB3 filing? If possible, do I need to return to my country to continue the EB3 filing? So the thing I can say about this is that normally what I would say is present the option to your agency that you have this intention and see what they say, because everybody knows that there is retrogression. So when you present it, you will see what they will say, if they will allow you to pursue this career. Is it doable? Yes, it's doable. Can you do concurrent filing in applications? Yes, you can do concurrent filing, and this is one of the areas where you can do it. Is it possible for you to do it now? It all depends on what your agency, the stage you are at the moment, and what your agency is saying. Because I know the last time we talked to the other agency, Interstaff, they told us about the F1 visa options that they have. And what they do is they will start your F1 visa application, and then they would also at the same time start your EB3 application as well. So it's possible, it can be done. It all depends on the people you're working with, if they are ready to support you. Because the reason why I'm saying this is that some of them may say no to you, not because it's not possible, but because they feel like you are not going to be loyal to them as the primary source that brought you to the United States. You might start, getting a lot of options when you get here if they don't say no. So most of them would go ahead to say no because they want to keep you being one of them and eventually coming here under their wings, which is not bad. They are a business. They will talk to, protect their business. And I don't have anything against it. But if you talk to some people that are very, very knowledgeable about this, they should be able to give you an unbiased advice. All right. So next question is from Techno. Techno says, sorry, I came late. What are the requirements to study BSN? I mean, financial implication. And I think Mr. Funsho just answered that. He said it's about $15,000 to $50,000 per year. It depends on the living expense of the place where you want to go. And then I think Mr. Funsho has been working with a lot of people to make sure that they go to area where the living expense is low. That's one thing that you have to do whenever you're coming to a new place. Don't come to the United States and go to New York and go to California and go
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Hollywood and go to Beverly Hills.
yeah, yeah,
Those areas are very expensive. It's not a place to start, it's the place to end. Okay, you can start small in some small, it's not rural. No place is rural in the United States. Everywhere has access to lights, road, and everything. So you can't really say it's rural. But developing communities, you can start there. And there is also opportunities when you start from developing communities, because there you have the opportunity to start working in a place where you can be made manager immediately. You can, because if you get into those big cities, there are bigger brains that are there that are competing for the same thing that you have. They have more qualifications. And then, but if you start in a smaller place, you will start gathering your experiences. Before you know it, you will have all that it takes for you to even go to those big cities and excel, if that is your dream. So it's possible, but I would say start small. That's my advice. All right. So Franklin is asking, I have diploma in nursing and I want to obtain a bachelor's degree in nursing. So although I have applied before but was denied visa twice last year, how do I go about it again? So Mr. Funsho.
Um, I would like to understand the circumstances the Franklin is in terms of finance and all that. So you give us an idea of how he's gone into those interviews and what can be done differently. So it's again, there's you can always reapply. We have people who reapply and they get the visas. But the first thing would be, okay, tell us. I hope Franklin can reach out afterwards and let's discuss their financial situation, what they've gone to, where they're going to, what did they ask you? So for instance, they could ask where are you going to, and so people don't know where the school is located or stuff like that. So let's know that bit. And maybe we can even rub minds with the lawyer as well when at a later point about this as well.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you. So, Franklin, if you're here and you want us to discuss that, if you're okay for us to discuss that, can just raise your hand and I will give you the mic so you can give us more insights to what happened in your previous application and we can rub minds together. But if not, we can, schedule a later date for
Yeah,
the,
as well. Yeah.
right. Mhm. All right. So we have Chinyere Achukwu is asking, if you have MSc, how many years do you need to do your DMP? So the question again is your MSc accepted in the US? That's the issue that I've had with a lot of people that came here with MScs. A lot of MScs do not meet practicum requirements for those that are in the US. The major thing is the practicum, the capstone. That's the major thing. Most of the MScs that are done outside of the United States, you can translate or transfer your transcript, but sometimes they may not accept all of them. They might push away some courses for you, but you will still have a lot of other things to do. So if it is fully accepted into a nursing program here in the US, the DMP program here in the US about 2 years and you're done. I have a friend of mine that is graduating today. She just finished her DMP, Doctor in Nursing Practice. So yeah, it's possible if you are able to transfer, but most of the universities that have tried it, most of the time they would tell them, to either transfer a few of the courses or they have to do an MSN afresh here in the US. All right. So Franklin is here. I've just asked you to unmute Franklin, and you can give us more details about your application, and we'll go from there. Hello, Franklin. Yeah.
Um, Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can
yes.
hear you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I got the question earlier. So what really happened during my first attempt was I think my first attempt was in Lagos. So during the interview, the officer asked me if I have traveled
We're losing you a bit.
before. I told him no. I told him
Yeah, he seems to be cutting off, right?
Yeah. Network.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Franklin, I don't know.
Maybe you should
Yeah,
reach out afterwards.
maybe you can reach out. Your maybe you can reach out and discuss with Mr. Funsho. Mr. Funsho, if you can leave your comments for him under his and give him maybe a direct contact to reach out and discuss, because I believe this will need you to really like
Okay.
work on it. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah.
Then the next question is from Komi. Komi is asking, could you enlighten us on the study routes to Canada and what is required, cost, and if one could relocate with family and also work?
Canada, yes, similar requirements in terms of what I had put up earlier. It's similar requirements to Canada as well. Um, but for bachelors, it would be good if the person did sciences. And we've seen quite a lot of headache trying to get people from non-science. This seems to be a little more, bit more strict. Because for instance, Canada doesn't have as many universities as the US. And so in the US, you can go and explore a few more options. But generally, the requirements are the same, WAEC and SSC, I mean, BSc, if you're trying to go for a master's, if you're trying to go for, there's RN to BSN as well. The costs is also similar to the to the US, only that it may be a slightly cheaper based on the currency rate, but in essence, it's the same, 20,000 Canadian dollars, which would be around maybe 18,000 American. So essentially, there's not much of a difference in terms of the cost. If family, as of this beginning of this year, as I'm assuming everybody's following these sort of rules, at the beginning of the year, we cannot bring family on for people who are not doing masters. So if you're doing anything below masters, they cannot apply for. The partners used to be able to apply for what they call open work permit. So you can, as me as a spouse, I will apply. My wife's studying, I go and apply for open work, which means I can work. But now the spouse can only apply for visit visa. You cannot work on a visit visa. So that's the downside um, for the new rules, which has affected the Canadians. But the kids, if you have kids, they can apply for visa and they can go to school after a while. But in terms of the spouse, it's going to be tough if you're not going for a master's in Canada. Master's in anything, really, not just the nursing. That's the general rule in terms of family.
All right, thank you so much. I have another question from Cheesy London. So please, how many
Mhm.
years is Masters in Nursing program in the United States? And secondly, after the end of my school and having gotten a job, can I bring my family? And when they come, will my dependent be able to work without limitations?
How many years is masters? Masters are usually 2 years. Some cases 1 year. Um, Masters in nursing. Secondly, after the end of the school, I want a job. Can I be? Yeah. If you're not on a student visa anymore, then yes, right? You can bring them on, and they probably will no limitation depending on what visa you have. But if it's still a student visa, then there will be limitation. That's what you need to have in mind.
All right, sounds good. Then the last, oh, sorry, I said the last. The next one, I wish
Okay.
it was the last. So, is there any age bracket to study BNSC?
No, no, no. No, no age, no age. They'll tell you the schools when we have meetings, they'll tell you you can be 70 years old and apply. They'll give it. It's no issue.
Okay, and that is asking, is it possible for a BNSC with us with US license to register for masters, and how long is it?
Is it possible maybe
For
for a
someone
B?
with a BSN to register for masters, and how long will it be? So it's just
Oh,
like asking how
it-
long is the master's
It's
program?
the masters, yeah, because if you have a bachelor's, then you can, yes, you can apply for the masters. The masters are 2 years. Right before that, Emigede Moses asked, RN to BSN, what's the duration? Okay, that's usually 2 years.
Yeah, I
Usually two
skipped
years.
it because I know
Yeah.
we've handled it and I'm trying to save time. So how long does it take for an RN who wants to do BSN? That's
Uh,
RN to BSN.
yeah, the duration is usually two. I think we've seen 1.5, so it kind of like varies, but at most two.
Okay, and I have a question from Charity. Said I have my BNSC, I have PGDE, I have RN, RM, I have RN, I have RAEN. They kept on refusing me admission for masters. You will need to talk to Mr. Funsho. He's gonna leave a comment
Yeah,
below.
yeah.
So,
Let's yes,
so
exactly.
you
We should probably reach out afterwards. Because if you've got an MSc, PGDE, if you got the BS bachelor's, why are you getting refusing and why are you getting refused on masters? I'm wondering which schools you're applying to, and also let's see the transcript of your BSc anyways. But I'm fairly certain we can get admissions though.
right. I feel the same way too, and I see a lot of comments under her. Can you kindly list some good schools in the USA that one can apply for in order to enroll RN to BSN?
I have a list of couple of schools. Sure. I can just add a couple of schools to this list of mine here for you guys.
Mhm. And then
Mm,
Judy's,
yeah, well, while that's going on, yes, let's just
yeah,
go on.
okay, Judy's in Italy, and she's asking, can I be interviewed in Italy, or does she need to come back to Nigeria or wherever she's from to do her interview?
No, you can be interviewed in Italy. So people from based in other countries, they apply for visa from where they are. It's allowed. Um, eh, to be frank, I've been doing the studies if it benefits the person, if it doesn't benefit the person, but we get a mix to be honest with you. But it's allowed. You can apply from Italy if you're we have people from Sweden who apply from Sweden, things like that. So it's fine.
Yeah, and to answer your question better, all the schools that we're giving are schools that you can do in-person studies. So there's no school that is listed here that is online. So online is not, we can't do online and get a visa for you. All of them are in-persons, okay? So Mr. Funsho, please kindly share your contact with us. We've gone through that. I was logged out of the room, but network. So think that's the last one. Please, I want to know how long it would take
Cool.
for one that has RN to do BSN. So I think we've been through
Yeah,
all the
we've got that
questions.
one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything we are forgetting?
Manage your contact. I will log that. Okay. No, I think that's about it. On a general level, everyone knows, they have an idea of the general requirements. We know have a general idea of the tuition, and also the start dates. Like I said, January, September. September is the biggest intake generally, but September, January, and May. So we can work towards a particular intake. And normally, if it's too close, we just move it to the next intake. That's what happens. It's always good to start right away, even if you're looking at next year, for instance, because it takes time. Even getting the dates for visa application, it takes time. So I would always like people start right away. Let's just start the process. Let's just start talking about it, to get the ball rolling. And soon enough, we'll get the documents and we'll run applications, we'll get admission, because it's not like this. Nothing good comes easy. So we'll apply to here, just like someone has said they didn't get admission here. So we do multiple schools. We do at least 3 schools in the beginning that we think you will get, and that's probably the benefit of maybe using someone like us. It's just that we have like information, a lot of information. We filter it down. If you just sit down in front of the internet is very wide. You don't know where to go and all that. That's kind of like what we do. Just filter it so that the information is just what you really need that pertains to you. We hand it that to you. Because you'll be reading a bunch of things online. Oh, you need to have IELTS here. Meanwhile, the arts is applying to Chinese people who are reading the website. It happens like that. They don't need it from us. So reach out. There's the number, there's a +1 number. This is drop that again. So people message that number, and then will, along the line, we'll be the one to counsel you and take it forward. Oh, before we go, Australia, someone mentioned Australia. Australia is definitely a very good place as well, for nursing. It's the same requirements. The tuition for Australia are usually higher. It's the most expensive of all these countries that we do, by the way. That's a downside. I'd say, the tuition is normally higher. But the requirements are the same. They have RN to BSN, they've got the BSN, they've got the masters as well. And people can work while studying. General thing that the other, like the US has, that Canada has, they have as well. Great.
All right. Thank you so much for coming to the program, Mr. Funsho. I really appreciate your help. Despite your very busy schedule, you still made our time for us, and then we spent over an hour, 30 minutes
An
on this
hour and a half
program.
now, yeah.
Yeah, so I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And then to our viewers, remember I said any program that we are doing is a strategic program. It's not for everybody. It's not going to benefit everyone, definitely, but there are some people that listen to our program and they get on it, get started with it, and before you know it, most of them have, maybe arrived the United States, or some of them are still, have gone very far with their process. So all I can tell you today is take advantage of this opportunity if you have not started doing anything. If you have already linked up with your agency and you've filed a petition, you might want to talk to them about, before you get started. You might want to talk to someone and get the person's input about what they think, because at some point they will be aware. At some point they will be aware that you're doing something. And I don't want it to look like you're hiding it from them. Don't hide it from them. This is your life. You have the opportunity, you have the right to decide how you want your life to go. So if you are of the opinion that this is a good opportunity for you, if you feel like that, then try it. If you don't, you can continue with whatever you're doing. All I'm looking for is for you guys to be okay. Okay, if you come in here, I will be so happy, no matter whichever means. Of course, I'm in every means that you. Okay, within the next couple of weeks, I'll come back again here and I'll be talking about EB3 petition application, and I talk about everything. But all I do is just bring all the cards and lay them down on the table, and then allow you to have adequate information to make the right decision. All right. Everybody is not the same. Our own family situations will inform the decisions that we take. But I just hope you make the right decision today. All right. So I just want to wish you guys the best. And, there's a number that is there on the chat box.
Yes.
So you can chat up that number on WhatsApp, and then you will be, giving someone like a specialist that will guide you on your process, person to be assigned to you specifically to take care of all your admission requirements, making sure you're on point. So we want to make sure that everybody is well taken care of. Mr. Funsho is a very busy person, so we're trying as much as possible to filter the questions that go to him. So once we link you up to specialists, specialists will be the one interfacing with you and also corresponding with Mr. Funsho on issues that pertains to your admission. If there's anyone that he needs to jump in right away to work on, he does that. I know him for a fact. He just gets into your DM and tell you who he is and how he's able to help you in any situation that you find yourself. So I just want you to take advantage of this opportunity, and then I can't wait to celebrate your success when you get over here. And for our friend that came to our program, Mr. Funsho, please kindly go to the comment section and tell him thank you. I know we are not paying him for this. I know for some people they will charge for this, honestly, but he's a good man. I don't know how else to appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on board. I think we'll schedule again maybe in the next couple of months, and we'll just get on a Zoom like this and talk to more people, because I believe with consistent information, people will be aware of opportunities. The reason why I'm doing this, Mr. Funsho, is that when I look at India, for instance, Okay, let me start with Philippines. There's no hospital that you go to in the US that you cannot find a Filipino. And this is
Very
based
good.
on information sharing. They get information, they spread it like wildfire. You understand? But some people from, Africa and some other third world countries, they don't do that. Some people get information, and if you ask
And
them,
hold it. Yeah, yes,
the one that pains me is when you ask somebody, how did you do this? He says it's God. It's
Yeah.
not God. There was a process. Tell us the process. You understand? Tell people the process. That's my problem. So I really appreciate you sharing this information with our people. My hope and my earnest expectation is that one day I will go to a hospital and find all Nigerians on duty,
No,
all
that was great.
Kenyans. I'll find all Cameroonians. I'll find all South Africans. I'll see more of our people because the opportunity is for everyone. All
Is
right.
there.
And then it's large. The opportunity is massive.
Yeah,
Can't
exactly.
even feel it.
Demand
If
is
you bring
real
if you
big.
bring your community here, there will still be a shortage of nurses. There's a shortage of jobs. You understand? So thank you so much, Mr. Funshu. I appreciate you. God bless you. All right. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate thank you for coming in. Next week, Friday, we are coming in here again with is a couple of is a company. Their name is Interstaff. They'll be coming here to discuss about EB3 petition filing. So they'll be here next week, Friday. And then tomorrow, if I'm able to establish that, if I'm able to book the immigration attorney for tomorrow, I'll send out information this night so that all of you can join for our visa bulletin and other immigration related questions that he's able to answer for us. All right. Thank you all. God bless you. Bye.
Hi, everybody.
Bye.